What's up, YouTube, and all my Twitter followers that's watching? I'm gonna do an NBA update on free agency. Run down a list of free agencies that signed and some that's still trying to find a contract. I'm gonna start out with my home team, the Detroit Pistons, and what they got today was 4 players. 3 of them dumped off from the Phoenix Suns to clear cap space. Marcus Morris, Danny Green, and Reggie Bullock. They got those 3 for a second round draft pick next year, which we really don't need. So that's always good. And pretty much some expiring contracts. The only contract that's sticking is Marcus Morris. That's for 3 years, but it's not for that much. Um, we also got Aaron Bynes too for a backup center. Definitely needed that. We didn't have nobody to back up Andre Drummond. Greg Monroe left, so we need as many big bodies as we can get. Other than that, that's pretty much what the Pistons did in free agency today. To go over the contracts that's already happened yesterday and some today. You got Kawhi Leonard, $90 million. He went back to the Spurs. That's good for him, especially for the Spurs. That's probably going to end up being a franchise player once Tim Duncan and Tony Parker, Ginobili, once they get ready to retire. So that's good for them. Anthony Davis, everybody know about the $145 million. They also brung back Omar Sheik. They brung him back for $60 million. So they spent some money over there in New Orleans. Paul Millsap went back to Atlanta. Um, so they got 3 big men. They got Tiago Splitter, Horford, and they got Paul Millsap. So they had to bulk themselves up after the playoffs. They had trouble with Cleveland keeping up with the size. Miles Garvin, Tristan Thompson killed them in the paint. So they wanted to bulk up in size. That's good, but they lost DeMarre Carroll. So finding a small forward is probably something that they might try to do. Um, DeMarre Carroll, speaking of him, he went to Toronto, 4 years, $60 million. Uh, he also he didn't meet with the Pistons. He talked to the Pistons, and he also talked to, I think, 2 other teams. But he said the Raptors blew him away, so he went to Toronto for $60 million. Goran Dragic, $90 million, 5 years with Miami. So he went back with Miami. Still waiting on Dwayne Wade, see what he's gonna do with his contract. Asked for a lot of money. Pat Riley, he got a meeting with LaMarcus Aldridge tonight. They're gonna have dinner. Right now, LaMarcus Aldridge is in LA. He got a second meeting with the Lakers. Um, I don't know what to think of that because yesterday reports had came out yesterday and said that the Lakers didn't do a good interview, but uh, that's probably because of it was more of marketing that they was trying to bring to LaMarcus Aldridge. He wasn't happy with what they had to say about what the team was trying to do moving forward, and trying to get to a championship. So that's probably what this meeting is about. You meeting with the coach, so we'll see what happened with that situation. So it's probably going to be in between the Spurs, Lakers, and Miami when it comes to LaMarcus Aldridge. We'll see what happened. Dunleavy went back to the Bulls. Dunleavy and also Dunleavy and Jimmy Butler both went back to the Bulls. Jimmy Butler went back 5 years, $90 million. They only spent $14 million on Dunleavy, and that's for 3 years. So it's pretty decent money, but they got to get ready to rebuild that team. Derrick Rose is not the same Derrick Rose it used to be, so they got to get some more young players, and they got to basically start rebuilding. Noah is aging. Paul Gasol can't stay healthy as usual when it comes to playoffs, so they got to get some new players over there. Brook Lopez and Thaddeus Young went back to the Nets. Brook went back for 3 years, $30 million, and Thaddeus went for 4 and $50 million. That's pretty good for the Nets. I thought they would lose Brook Lopez. It was, a few reports coming out that Brook Lopez was meeting with some other teams, but they end up keeping him. They still got those 2 terrible contracts over there, Darren Williams and Joe Johnson. They tried to trade Joe Johnson. Nobody wants that contract, though. He's entitled to 24 million this season coming alone. That's the second highest paid contract in the league, um, and he's pretty much just a good shooting guard right now. He's not living up to that contract whatsoever. So, and so is Darren Williams. So, they're stuck with those contracts until they can get those contracts off. Pretty much stuck at where they at. So, hearing Chris Middleton and Brandon Knight, two ex-Pistons players, both players was traded to get Brandon Jennings here in Detroit by Joe Dumars. Um, they both got 5-year contracts for $70 million apiece. Um, Brandon Knight sticking with the Suns and Chris Middleton going back with the Bucks. The Bucks also got another ex-Piston, Greg Monroe. Greg Monroe went to the Bucks, left the Pistons, went to the Bucks. Greg Monroe's contract was 3 years for $50 million and an option in the third year. So uh, that's not too long term for him. He'd be able to get out of there. Things don't pan out like he wanted to. Um, Say he chose that team because they had the best chance of making the playoffs and actually winning a series of two in the playoffs. So, a pretty young team. You got the Greek Freak over there. You got Parker over there. Michael Carter Williams. So you got some length over there. It's a pretty long team. So see what they can do next season. They made the playoffs surprisingly last season. So we see what happened. Kevin Love went back to the Cavs, 110 million. Thought he was probably going to end up going to the Lakers. He was scheduled to meet them this week, but uh, changed his mind. 110 million, smart move for him. You got a chance to go back to the finals. I feel like that finals would have been a little bit different if he wasn't hurt. So that's a good move for him. You got Chandler. He went to the Suns, 52 million for 4 years. So he left the Mavericks. So that left kind of a hole with the Mavericks because they were probably going to try to get DeAndre Jordan or LaMarcus Aldridge. DeAndre is still out there. I don't know where he might end up, but we'll see what happens with him. He might end up going back to the Clippers. I don't know. It's between the Mavericks and it's between the Lakers with DeAndre Jordan. If I was him, I probably would go to the Lakers. You get to stay in LA, but you get to basically be more of a covenant player with the Lakers. His career could take off if he was to go to the Lakers, so that'd probably be the best move for him. Um, Clippers acquired Paul Pierce for 3 years, so he probably gonna finish his career out with Doc Rivers. So that's good that they got reunited. Kevin Garnett is coming back for another season with the Timberwolves. I don't know why he should retire, but that's him. Marc Gasol, 100 million with the Grizzlies. That's not done. It's not finalized. None of the contracts can be finalized and signed until the 9th, but it's not a verbal agreement yet either. They're trying to work for a $100 million dollar contract. So that might end up happening today, probably this evening, because they say they were close to meeting on the deal. So probably hear about that in the news a little bit later. Damian Lillard just got his extension for 120 million from Portland Trail Blazers. That's a good contract. I mean, Damian deserved every dollar that they offer him. He basically the face of that franchise now since LaMarcus Aldridge is gone. So um, we'll see what they be able to acquire. They also losing Wesley Matthews. Wesley Matthews is supposed to meet with the Sacramento Kings. They offer him a pretty nice contract. It's going to be hard for him to turn that down. Probably hear about that in the news later. But you know, it's a lot of second year a lot of second year focus on what when the salary cap explode. The second year of those contracts is going to be pretty much basic contracts. Like right now, you're getting 70 million, 60 million for these players. They second and third tier players, but it looks high right now. But once that cap explode next year, it'll be pretty basic contracts. So these teams, it look like they're doing something outrageous, but they really not. Golden State is 30 million over the luxury tax, but that's only for this year. After the salary cap explode, then it'll pretty much be a good situation for them, especially with the talent that they acquired this year. Um, Draymond Green went back for 85 million. Thought he'd end up being a Piston. Guess not. He cut off contract talks yesterday, uh, but later on in that evening, he ended up getting a deal done with the Warriors. So I mean, that's good for them. I'm a Detroiter, so I was hoping he would end up coming home, but I guess not yet. So um, Tobias Harris is still out there. The Pistons might try to acquire him. I don't know what's going on with him. We'll see where he end up. I heard that Orlando didn't want to bring him back. They didn't want to. They didn't want to give him a max deal, and that's what he's looking for. So I don't know where he might end up. It's between either the Celtics or the Pistons. Those are two teams that he's been talking to. So we'll see what happens. Um, let's see, who else do I got here? Andre Drummond. They working on a contract extension with him for 130 million. He wants it this summer, but they want to do it next year. They want to be able to do it next year because they'll have an extra 15 million in that process. But if he wants his contract this summer, I'll give it to him. That's your franchise player. You got to give him what he wants. So uh, you want to keep your player happy. So just give him to him this summer. I mean, the 15 million next year. You didn't really spend that much in free agency. You got a bunch of players dumped off to your team for pretty much nothing. So get through this season. Next year you have some money to spend anyway. Just get a guy his money this summer. Keep him happy. You don't want to disappoint him in any way, shape, or form. Make him end up leaving Detroit, and then you really have a problem. Um, Monte Ellis went to Indiana for 4 years. Larry Bird said that he probably would be a good fit with Paul George over there. They needed some offense over there. Offensive punch ain't that good. They lost Wes. Wes said he didn't want to play with the franchise no more because he felt like they didn't have a good chance to win the championship. He wanted to go to a contender. He's aging and he's in the late stage of his career, so you only got so many chances to try to win the championship. So he felt like that team couldn't provide that. So now he's out looking. Say he's interested in the Spurs. So if LaMarcus Aldridge do end up going to the Lakers, um, they probably might look at West since they lost Tiago Splitter to Atlanta. So we'll see what happens. Sacramento trying to meet with Rondo. Rondo later this week. Rajon Rondo is scheduled to meet with them, and they're gonna try to acquire him. They're gonna try to acquire Wesley Matthews too. Wesley Matthews is still out there, so they're trying to get some type of guard. See what they can get. Let's see what we got. We got of course everybody knows Dwayne Wade is trying to get that huge contract. Tim Duncan, he's going back to the Spurs. LeBron is still in a wait and see situation. So we'll see what happens, man. We got a few more free agents out there. Notable signings been happening all day. Um, let's just see where it takes us these next couple of days. See who goes where for the people that's still out there, and see if the Pistons will go ahead and snag Tobias Harris. That'd be a good addition for them. Nice young player. A lot of people try to criticize his jump shot, but that's he's a young player. He's 22 years old, so that can be taught. And that's pretty much it. That's all I got for this review. I appreciate you guys listening. For you people who did watch. Um, if you appreciate what I said, I appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Um, and if you have anything that you want to share, any information on free agents, anything that you want to know from me, anything that you disagree with, leave it in the comment section. I'm big on interacting with people who watch my videos, so I'll be glad to respond and give you information, debate with you if you want to debate. So I appreciate you guys watching. I just want to say thanks in advance. Um, and I'll see you guys probably later on this week once I find out something else. See if anybody else go anywhere else. So see you guys later. Have a great evening. I'm out of here.